all to the glory of God. Sabbath School. Lesson 5. July 25th to 31st. Have you ever wondered if the little choices you make every day really matter to God? Could something as simple as eating, drinking, or speaking kind words become an act of worship? Stay with us, because today's lesson will show us how every part of life can bring glory to God. Before we begin, please like this video, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel. Every like and every share helps God's message reach more people around the world. Let's open our hearts and begin this week's Sabbath School lesson. Sabbath afternoon, living for God's glory. Our memory text is found in 1 Corinthians 10:31. Therefore, whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do all to the glory of God. The believers in Corinth had many questions about food that had been offered to idols. Some Christians believed it was harmless because idols were not real gods. Others felt uncomfortable because that food reminded them of their old life before they knew Jesus. Paul saw that this was not really about food. It was about love, faith, and the choices believers make every day. He wanted them to think beyond themselves. Instead of asking, "Can I do this?" they should ask, "Will this honor God? Will this help someone else grow closer to Jesus?" This lesson reminds us that God cares about every part of our lives. Whether we are at home, at school, at work, or in church, our actions should point people to Christ. Sunday, knowledge needs love. Paul explained that knowledge is important, but knowledge without love becomes dangerous. Some believers proudly said they knew idols had no power, so they felt free to eat any food. They believed their knowledge gave them freedom. Paul agreed that there is only one true God, but he also reminded them that not everyone had the same understanding. New believers still struggled with memories of idol worship. If they saw stronger Christians eating food connected with idols, they might think it was acceptable to return to their old ways. Paul teaches that love is more important than showing how much we know. Real knowledge makes us humble. It helps us protect the faith of others instead of confusing them. Before making any decision, we should ask ourselves, will my choice encourage someone or cause them to stumble? Love always chooses what is best for others. Monday, love gives up its rights. Paul then used his own life as an example. As an apostle, he had the right to receive financial support from the churches. He had the right to be cared for while sharing the gospel. Yet many times, Paul chose to work as a tent maker so that no one could accuse him of preaching for money. He gladly gave up his own rights because winning people to Jesus was more important than personal comfort. That is what Christ-like love looks like. Sometimes we may have the freedom to do something, but love asks a greater question. Will this help others know Jesus better? When we put God's mission first, we become living examples of His love. Before we continue to Tuesday's lesson, we'd love to hear from you. Please write one word in the comments: glory. Let that one word remind us that our greatest purpose is to bring glory to God in everything we do. Tuesday, learning from Israel's mistakes. Paul reminded the Corinthians about the people of Israel in the wilderness. God protected them with the cloud, led them safely through the Red Sea, and provided food and water every day. They saw miracle after miracle, yet many still chose to complain, worship idols, and follow sinful desires. Paul says these stories were written as warnings for us. Great blessings do not guarantee faithfulness. Every day we must choose to trust and obey God. But Paul also shares wonderful hope. He says that God is faithful. Whenever temptation comes, He always provides a way to escape. We never face temptation alone, because God is ready to give us strength to choose what is right. Wednesday, warning against idolatry. Welcome back. As we continue this week's lesson, Paul gives one clear command: flee from idolatry. In Bible times, people worshipped idols made of wood, stone, and metal. They believed these false gods could protect them, so they offered sacrifices and joined in pagan feasts. Paul explained that while idols have no real power, taking part in idol worship leads people away from the true God. A believer cannot worship Jesus and then join in practices that honor false gods. Just as light and darkness cannot live together, our hearts cannot belong to both God and idols. Today, idols may not be carved statues. Anything that takes God's place in our hearts can become an idol. Money, success, entertainment, sports, social media, or even our own pride can quietly become more important than God. That is why Paul calls us to keep Jesus first in every part of life. Thursday, loving God and loving others. Paul now brings everything together with a simple but powerful principle. Love God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. These two commandments help us make wise choices every day. Paul reminds us that not everything we are free to do is helpful. Some actions may not be sinful, but they could confuse another believer or weaken someone's faith. Love always thinks about others before itself. Before making a decision, we should ask, will this bring glory to God? Will this help someone grow closer to Jesus? When God's love fills our hearts, we choose kindness instead of selfishness, humility instead of pride, and service instead of seeking our own way. Friday, do everything for God's glory. As we finish this week's lesson, one message stands above all the rest. Everything we do should bring glory to God. Whether we eat, drink, work, study, or spend time with family and friends, our lives should reflect the love of Jesus. Paul wanted the believers in Corinth to understand that being a Christian is not just about knowing the truth. It is about living the truth every single day. When we put God first, we become a blessing to others. Our words become kinder, our choices become wiser, and our lives point people to Christ. Like Paul, we should be willing to give up anything that might keep someone from accepting the gospel. As you begin this new week, ask God to help you honor Him in every decision, big or small. Let your life shine so others will see Jesus through you. Thank you for joining us for this Sabbath school lesson. If these Bible studies encourage your faith, we warmly invite you to join our channel membership program. Your support helps us continue producing Bible-based lessons that reach people around the world. May God bless you, keep you faithful, and help you do all things for His glory. We'll see you again in our next Sabbath school lesson. Until then, keep walking with Jesus and let His light shine through your life.